Florida State continues to pounce and take advantage of the turmoil there at Alabama, and they pick up a huge flip and commitment in four-star edge Javion Hilson. He's a top 50 player in the nation, the number 2 edge according to On3, the number 4 edge per 247. He's a fringe 5-star kid at the moment, so as we get into his senior season, the rankings still have time to adjust, and he can continue to rise. Most people I talk with think that there's a very good chance he finishes as a 5-star player for the 2025 class. Florida State has been heavily recruiting him for a while now, and was even thought to be the favorite for him up until last month when he made a sort of surprise commitment to the Crimson Tide. Of course, I think Nick Saban retiring has had a lot to do with this. Coaching turnover is usually a big turnoff for kids for obvious reasons, and I think at that point it was pretty much a no-brainer for him considering how much he initially liked Florida State anyways. But Javion comes in at 6'3", 6'4", depending on where you look. It's about 225 pounds, but of course, we're only in January, so he still has a lot of time to continue to grow. A lot of people think he could hold probably 250 to 260. He comes from Cocoa High School here in Florida. He's a 2-sport athlete. That's always nice. Obviously a top football recruit, but he also competes in track and field events. And, watching his film, he's a game wrecker for sure. He's viewed more as a run stopper, but definitely makes his way into the backfield as well, rushing the quarterback. So a very versatile prospect there along the defensive line. In 2022, he had 9 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. In the state championship game against FSU High School, he forced the game-sealing fumble in overtime. So definitely a productive guy that wreaks havoc and has a lot of potential. This is a huge, huge pickup. Defensive line has been another area of recruiting, especially from the high school ranks, that we've been pretty critical of. We've talked ad nauseum, at least it seems like, about the poor linebacker recruiting, but defensive end, the edge position has been another that you just feel like Florida State should have been recruiting better, but just wasn't for some reason. Florida State obviously has a tremendous track record with developing defensive end players. Guys like Jermaine Johnson and Jared Verse have transferred into Florida State and turned themselves into first-round draft picks. So that should be appealing to high school prospects, and FSU should absolutely be landing players of this caliber. Now, defensive ends coach John Papuchis and defensive lines coach Odell Higgins recently just got extensions for the next 2 to 3 years, and we've covered that on this channel. It was a bit of a shock to me personally, but ironically, since then, we've seen Florida State pick up some steam there, both through the transfer portal, landing a lot of elite guys from places like Georgia and Alabama, but now we're starting to see that spill over into the high school ranks as well. Florida State adds Hilson to their 2025 class that continues to improve, a class that already includes 5-star offensive lineman Solomon Thomas. Obviously, it's still very early in the cycle, but gotta love Florida State making some moves early and still have a long way to go. 5-star wide receiver Jamie French is actually another player in the 2025 class that Mike Norvell is recruiting very heavily. He's even teammates with Tramel Jones, a quarterback there at Mandarin High School that the Noles also have in the class for 2025. And French just decommitted from Alabama as well. So it's thought that Florida State is now the front runner for him. He's even visiting this weekend, so keep an eye out on that one there. I really, really like Florida State's chances here at this point with French. I know FSU has struggled these last few signing days, and I'll admit, this last one even actually kind of shocked me a bit. I know I'll get all the comments of saying, doesn't matter until they sign, yada, yada, and yes, I 100% agree. I 100% see why you might be hesitant to get excited about recruits, especially this early in the cycle. But for one, we got to do the content on it. You got to make the videos about it. But it's also good info to know about these guys, and it's definitely going to be worth keeping up with if they do ultimately sign with Florida State on signing day. But regardless, for now at least, the Noles have picked up a really, really solid recruit here in the 2025 class as they look to continue to build off the momentum that they've gotten over these last few weeks. More good news for Noles fans, more taking advantage of a pretty turbulent Alabama program right now. We got Junior Day coming up this weekend with quite a few highly touted recruits, including Jamie French. So stay tuned for some more stuff on that. As always, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Really helps me out a lot, and we have a goal to actually hit 1,000 subs on the channel by kickoff in Ireland next season. So definitely hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk soon. Go Noles.